So we're just going to be talking about the graphs of a quadratic function. And so the first one is x squared plus 6x plus 8. What form is this in?
Standard.
Good. It is in standard form. It's in standard form. What information does that give us?
Y-intercept.
Very good. It gives us the y-intercept. So we know the y-intercept is 8. We know the y-intercept is 8. So I can come down here and I can say that the y-intercept is 8. Okay. All right. How can I find the vertex?
Desmos.
Very good. Desmos is your best friend. All right. So I can go to Desmos. Actually, let me do this. All right. All right, so x squared plus 6x plus 8. And my vertex is where? Where's my vertex?
At the minimum.
-3.
Very good, at the minimum. So I click right there and Desmos gives me the point. Desmos is awesome. So my vertex is -3, -1. All right. Your axis of symmetry is the line that splits it down the middle, which is a vertical line. Vertical lines are always x equals, and what is this one? X equals what?
-1.
-3, because it's your x value, because it's x equals, so you want your x value, so -3. Okay. All right. What about my x-intercepts? I can just click where it crosses the x. The x-axis is right here. I can just click where it crosses -4, 0 and -2, 0. -4, 0 and -2, 0. All right, we already said the y-intercept was 0, 8. Does Desmos prove that we were right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And your domain. Does anybody remember what domain refers to?
Is that then like all of the x values basically?
Very good. Very good. It's all of the x values. And so domain, you look at a graph from left to right because you're thinking about the x axis. So you look from left to right because it's your x values. Does this graph go to the left forever? What do you think? Does it go to the left forever?
Yes.
Yes. Does it go to the right forever?
Yes.
Yes. All right. This one is called all real numbers. All right, all real numbers. That's the symbol for it. It's like a R with a thing through it with an extra line. All real numbers is the domain. All real numbers. Okay. All right. Does anybody remember what range refers to?
All of the y values.
Good. All of the y values. Range is y. For range, you do bottom to top. If you're taking any notes today, this is the most important thing, or one of the most important things to write down. Domain is left to right. Range is bottom to top. All right, does this graph go to the bottom forever?
No.
No, it stops at the minimum. It stops at the minimum. And remember, range is y value. So what is the y value of the minimum? What's the y value?
-1.
-1, good. And so the way you're gonna write your answer is y is greater than or equal to -1. Y is greater than or equal to -1 because all the y values start at -1 and then it goes to the top forever. So it takes on every y value. The graph takes on every y value that is greater than or equal to -1. Okay. All right, for what x values is f of x increasing? All right, increasing and decreasing, you have to trace. You have to trace the left start, always start on the left. So if you see where my mouse is, if you trace on the left side, the graph is decreasing. So ignore this arrow. This arrow means it goes forever. Ignore that. So this is decreasing on the left. And then once it gets to the minimum or the bottom point, it starts to increase. Okay, so it is increasing from -3 to infinity. It's increasing from -3 to infinity. All right. And it's decreasing from -infinity to -3 on the left side of the graph. So that is -infinity to -3. That will make more sense once we do more of those, okay? All right, for what x values is f of x greater than 0? What does it mean for something to be greater than 0?
The number is above 0.
What kind of numbers are above 0?
Positive.
Positive. So this is asking where the graph is positive. And it is positive anywhere it's above the x-axis. So the graph is positive wherever it is above the x-axis. All right, so it is above the x-axis right here. So there's actually 2 sections where it's above the x-axis. All right, so the way that you write this section, you start on the left, so we call that -infinity on the left. So it's -infinity, and then it stops at -4. So -infinity to -4. And then it's also positive right here on this side. And again, we go from left to right. This point, what do we say this point was? We said it was -2. So from -2 to infinity. All right, for what x values is f of x less than 0? What do you think it means by that, f of x less than 0?
Negative numbers.
Good, where it's negative, and so it's referring to below the x-axis. So this one is talking about where it's below the x-axis. So there's only one section that's below the x-axis. That is right here. And that is from -5, sorry, not -5, -4. From -4, this point, let's erase some of this. All right, so this is the section that's below the x-axis right here. So this point is -4, and then it goes to this point, which is -2. So -4 to negative 2. That's not a point, it's an interval. Okay. All right, and then the last thing that they want you to know about a graph is the end behavior. As x goes to positive infinity, so that is the right side. So on the right side of the graph, as x goes to infinity, this is where you look at these arrows. So on a parabola, these two answers will always match on a parabola because the ends always go in the same direction. What are the ends doing? The end behavior, what are the ends doing? Are they going up or going down?
They're going up.
They're going up, so we call that positive infinity. So as x goes to infinity, y goes to infinity, and as x goes to negative infinity, y is also going to infinity. Jaya, I don't understand your question. Can you try to ask it a different way? I just don't understand it. I'm sorry. All right. So let me explain this one again, the best that I can. For what x values is it positive? For what x values is it positive? That's where it's above the x-axis. That's where it's above the x-axis. So it is above the x-axis here. It's above the x-axis here, and it's above the x-axis here. So the way that we write that is we say from negative infinity. The reason we're calling that negative infinity is because it says for what x values, and x is going to negative infinity on this side. So that's why we're calling this negative infinity. And then it stops at negative 4. So we wrote negative infinity to negative 4. Then for this section, we go from left to right. So this one starts at negative 2. This one starts at negative 2. And then it goes to positive infinity. Once again, because you're considering the x values on this one, because it says for what x values. It says for what x values. All right. Then it says for what x values is it negative? Well, that's where it is below the x-axis. So it is below the x-axis from here to here. It's below the x-axis. And again, you're doing the x values. So from negative 4 to negative 2, this is an interval, it's not a point. So from negative 4 to negative 2, it is below the x-axis. This is new. It's going to take a while for your brain to wrap around it. All right, let's do another one. All right, let's clear all of this. All right, number 2. All right, what form is this one in? What form is this in?
Factored form.
Factored form. What does factored form give you off of this list that we have below? What does factored form give you?
The roots.
Very good. I don't see the word roots. What word are they using?
X-intercepts.
X-intercepts. Very good. What are the X-intercepts?
+4 and -2.
Very good. You have to do the opposite. So -4 becomes +4 and +2 becomes -2. Very good. Okay. All right. How can we get the vertex? What can we do with this?
Put it in Desmos.
Yes, put it in Desmos. Negative x minus 4, x plus 2. And your vertex is 1, 9. Your vertex is 1, 9. Anybody know what your axis of symmetry would be?
X equals 2.
Close. X equals
1.
1. All right, it's whatever your h is. Whatever your h is. All right, what about the y-intercept? That's where it crosses the y. So I click right here. So the y-intercept is 0, 8. All right, what does domain mean?
The X value.
The X values. And you look left to right. Does this graph go to the left forever?
Yes.
Yes. Does it go to the right forever?
Yes.
Yes. It's always going to be all real numbers for parabolas. It will always be all real numbers because parabolas go to the left and right forever. So it'll always be all real numbers for parabolas. All right. The range will switch. What did we say range was?
Bottom to top.
Very good. Bottom to top. Yes, it is bottom to top, but we can also think about it. So your range is going to have a y in it because it's talking about the y's. Where this one stops right here. This one stops right here. What is the y value for that one?
9.
9. The y value is 9 for that point. Does the parabola take on all values greater than or equal to 9, or does the parabola take on all values less than or equal to 9?
Less than or equal.
Less than or equal to 9. Okay. All right. For what x values is f of x increasing? All right, guys, what do you think? Is this one increasing on the left side or the right side?
Left.
Very good. This side is where it's increasing. It's increasing on the left. It's increasing on the left. So the way we write that is negative infinity to, what is your x value right here? What's your x value?
1.
1. All right, guys, for increasing and decreasing, you trace it. You trace it. And you trace it from left to right. You trace it from left to right. So if I start on the left, side and I trace it, what is my mouse doing? Is it going up or going down?
Up.
It's going up, okay? If you were to look at a table of values for this one, if you were to look at a table of values, -4, -3, -2, these numbers would be going up. All right, it's increasing. All right, where is it decreasing? It is decreasing on the right side. It's decreasing on the right side. What is your x value where it starts at?
1.
Yep. Does anybody know what it goes to? 1 to what?
Negative infinity.
All right, so I know this is confusing. I know it is. Y'all are doing the best you can, especially when we're online. All right, so again, it's asking about the x values. It's asking about the x values. Whenever it's asking about the x values, this side of x is called negative infinity. This side of x is called positive infinity. So it's going from 1, all the way. What is your x value right here? Your x value is positive infinity. All right. What about this? F of x greater than 0. What does that mean? Anybody?
X values above the x-axis.
Good, where it's above the x-axis. So let's see. Where is it above the x-axis? It is above the x-axis from here all the way to here. What is my x value for that one right there?
-2.
Good, and then it goes to what? What's your x value over here?
4.
Good, -2 to 4. -2 to 4. All right, the next part, f of x less than 0, what does that mean?
Below the x-axis.
Yeah, so here is where it's below the x-axis. Unfortunately, that is 2 separate parts. This one and this one. So we have to write 2 separate intervals. All right, once again, we're talking about x values. What is my x value down here? What do I call that?
Infinity?
Negative infinity, close, negative infinity. On the left side, when it's talking about x, it's gonna be negative infinity. All right, then it stops right here. Where does it get to right there?
-2.
-2, okay. Now we're gonna do this one over here. Where does it start at over here? It starts at
4.
4, and it goes to what? What do we call this over here for the x?
Positive infinity.
Good, positive infinity, good. All right, for a parabola, the end behaviors will always be the same on both sides. Is this parabola going down or going up at the ends?
Down.
It's going down. And so you can write y is going to negative infinity. You could also write f of x. I'm going to write f of x this time. Remember, f of x and y are the same thing. So f of x goes to negative infinity because the parabola opens down. And it does the same thing at this end. So both ends point down. So for both blanks, you say f of x goes to negative infinity. All right, does anybody need more time to write?
I do.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. All right, let's do number 3. All right, what format is this one in?
Standard form.
Good. What does standard form give you? What information?
Y-intercept.
Good. So your y-intercept is 5 over 2, 0, 5 over 2. All right, how can I find the vertex, axis of symmetry, x-intercepts, domain, and range?
Desmos.
Desmos, -1/2 x squared plus 2x plus 5 over 2. All right, so my vertex is 2, 4.5. All right, what is my axis of symmetry?
X equals 2.
Good, x equals 2. What are the x-intercepts?
-1, 0, and 5, 0.
Good. -1, 0, and 5 to 0. Anybody know what the domain is?
All real numbers.
Good. All real numbers. For parabolas, all real numbers. All right. What is the range talking about? X values or Y values?
Y values.
Y values. Okay. And you look at your vertex number. Here's your vertex. What's the Y value of your vertex?
4.5.
4.5. And is it all values greater than or equal to that, or less than or equal to it?
Less than.
Less than. All right, somebody who has not answered today, where is it increasing? On the left side or the right side?
Left side.
Good, the left side. So it is increasing right here. It's increasing on the left side. What do we write for this if we're talking about a x value? What do we call this for the x?
Negative infinity.
Very good, negative infinity. So it's negative infinity to what? What x value does it stop increasing at? What x value is that?
2.
2, okay? And then it's decreasing from 2 to what?
Positive infinity.
Good, okay? All right, somebody who has not answered today, there's a lot of you out there. What does this mean? F of x greater than 0. What are we looking at on the graph for this one?
Above the x-axis.
Good, Addie, above the x-axis. So above the x-axis is from here to here. So that is from -1 to 5. It's above the x-axis from -1 to 5. All right, where is it below the x-axis? This is one where there's 2 parts that are below this part and this part. Anybody want to give this a try? How do I write this one? How do I write that part? What interval do I write for that?
Negative infinity to -1, 0.
Very, very good, Isaac. Negative infinity to -1. All right, anybody else want to try this other one?
5 to positive infinity.
Good, Jaya. 5 to infinity. All right, somebody who has not answered, what are the ends doing on this one? Are they going up or going down?
Down.
They're going down. And so I write f of x is going to negative infinity on both sides. f of x is going to negative infinity. Yeah. All right, does anybody need more time to write? All right, last one. All right, what format is this one in?
Vertex.
Vertex.
Good, vertex form. It's got one parentheses and a square, that's vertex form. What is the vertex of this one?
4, -1.
4, -1.
Very good, 4, -1. All right, how can I find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts?
Desmos.
Good, in Desmos. All right, so there's your vertex, 4, -1. Your axis of symmetry is here. How can I write that?
X equals 4.
Good, x equals 4. What are my x-intercepts?
Three zero 5 0.
Thank you, Jay. All right, and your y-intercept, oh, I'm gonna have to drag the graph. The y-intercept is 0, 15. All right, somebody who has not answered today, what is the domain?
All real numbers.
Good, Jacob K. All real numbers. All right, somebody else who has not answered today. What letter do I put down for range? Come on, guys.
Y.
Thank you, Samuel. Y. All right. And you look at your vertex. The y value is -1. And is this one greater than or equal to or less than or equal to -1?
Greater than equal to.
Yep, because the y values are bigger than -1. Okay. All right. Which side is it increasing on, the left or the right?
The right.
Good, very good. It's increasing on the right side. It's increasing on the right side. And once again, it's asking for the x values. So what is the x value that it starts increasing at?
4.
4. And it goes to what?
Positive infinity.
Very good. 4 to positive infinity. All right, where is it decreasing? On the left. So how do I write that one?
Negative infinity 4.
Good. All right, somebody who has not answered today, you can send me your answer in chat if you want. What does this mean? F of x greater than 0.
Above x-axis.
Thank you, EJ. Above the x-axis. So it is above the x-axis here and here. So this is one where I have to write 2 parts. So this part would be negative infinity to, what do we say that number was? 3. And then this side would be 5 to positive infinity. All right, somebody else who has not answered, you could send me your answer in chat if you want. What does this mean? F of x less than 0. Thank you, Terry, below the x-axis. So for this one, there's only one spot where it's below the x-axis, which is right here. This is where it's below, so from 3 to 5. All right, what about on the ends? What is this one doing on the ends?
Would it be fx positive infinity?
Thank you. F of x positive infinity, because the ends are pointing up. So it's going to positive infinity.